Hello, hello. How is everyone doing? We are going to get started here. And I just wanted to do an addendum. There was actually a something I forgot, kind of a comparison to another city from the stream I did yesterday. And I wanted to add that in and kind of get that documented. So we are going to look at another city in the South, Chattanooga, and kind of compare and contrast it a little bit with Jackson. So, but first, I want to contrast and compare a couple of videos, a couple of reactions to different reactions to different reactions to the rally, I guess you could say. Or really, it's a free Megan Thee Stallion's free concert in which she allowed the last few minutes to be taken by Kamala Harris, whatever, and so she could have a rally. Is what it was. So I want to compare and contrast those differences. I find that interesting. All right, hit the like on your way in, everybody. Hit the like on your way in. Let's get this screen share going.
Girl Coach reporting live with the future president of the United States.
Everybody,
What do you have to say to the American people?
we are not going back.
A few moments later.
Megan, what is this at the ATL rally event? Like, what? You need to pipe it down, honey, and do that somewhere else, but not at this type of event. Like, silence is very loud.
So out of all the people she
Tasha, we want to start with you. You were there in the room at the rally tonight. I watched at home. It seemed like a raucous, electric crowd. What can you tell us, having been in the room?
You know, Simone, it was actually electrifying. I have been to many rallies in my life, political rallies, and it was absolutely electrifying. You know, what was really interesting is the number of young people that were in the room. I think it's really clear that this campaign is going to focus on young voters and re-engaging young voters in this election cycle. I knew it was a room full of young people, and they knew all of the words to Drake's song. I mean, to Kendrick Lamar's song, "You're Not Like Us." It was really interesting. The energy was high. People were excited. People left ignited. I talked to some young people that were there. One young woman I talked to goes,
could have chose Kamala Harris picked Meg Thee Stallion to open up her rally in Atlanta. And that's nothing against Meg Thee Stallion. I love a good twerk every now and then. But optics matter, folks. Optics matter.
The black community fall for this cringy ass bullshit.
Or as my friend Quavo would say, he does not walk it like he talks it.
Look, she don't even know where to put the S. Right? She doesn't know where to put the S. Oh my goodness.
Name me a time.
Tennessee State University.
The dichotomy is hilarious, right? Or not the dichotomy, the juxtaposition in reactions. I mean, bro, I really can't wait to clown these black Democrats. I can't, man. I can't. I'll probably go get my haircut, man. You know, I will probably go get a haircut just for the opportunity to engage in this conversation.
That she drove in, that she had planned to vote this election cycle, but now she was going to actually organize a busload of her peers to actually go to the polls. So that's the kind of excitement from beginning to end that happened tonight in Atlanta.
Latasha, I'm wondering, what was the response?
In black culture history, you've heard someone say, even after the song "Walk It Like He Talk It" came out, say, man, he ain't walking it like he talk it. Nobody says that, bro. Nobody. Then on top of that, she has this weird accent. Where is this weird accent coming from? Because this is how you normally talk.
Your vote is your power. So please make sure your voice is heard this November and register.
And you all helped us win in 2020, and we're going to do it again in 2024. Yes, we will.
But y'all notice
2024. How many of y'all remember? How many of y'all remember? I ain't no ways tired.
that's how she talk.
Response when the rally was over. Obviously, you heard from Quavo, you heard from Meg Thee Stallion, and then the vice president herself, specifically taking it directly to Donald Trump on everything from immigration to his unwillingness at this point to debate her. What was the tone and tenor, if you will, in the conversation after the rally?
You know, I think that it was interesting. People seemed like they didn't want to leave. They want to actually see this debate. They want to see him debate her. You know, I felt that they were excited about her campaign and her candidacy, but they really felt like there was a pathway to victory. People that we talked to all across outside, they were just lingering around saying, yes, we can do this. I kept hearing people say, we're going to win, we can do this. So there was a lot of hope on this piece. And then I heard people talk about, yeah, he needs to debate her. What is he running? Is he scared? And so it was really interesting to hear. I think that what we heard, a couple of things. One, I thought we heard about the direction of the campaign. It seemed like the tone was around young people. We also heard she went straight in on immigration and really let me set this record straight around what we have done with immigration and how the Republicans have actually blocked that. She went straight in on talking about reproductive justice and women. And out of all of the
when she was on an LGBTQ set versus how she was talking when she had her rally in Atlanta, Georgia today. Kamala, you are not Southern. You have no Southern draw. You're not from any part of any Southern state. You have no ties to the South whatsoever. So why are you talking like that? If my memory serves me right, ain't she from California? Mama's Indian, daddy is Indian and Jamaican. So where's the black culture Southern draw coming from? Like I told y'all before this woman had any rallies, I told y'all this weeks ago, y'all fall for that. I eat fried chicken and I eat watermelon and I listen to rap music, bullshit.
Hey, you remember that, who's that? Washing greens in the tub?
If y'all want to, y'all gonna be hollering after about 3 to 4 months of this woman being in office. I'm not bullshitting with y'all. All skin folk and kin folk, and she ain't even skin folk. She Indian, Asian.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh.
the issues that were raised reproductive justice, the crowd.
Confident that they were going to be able to hold this on, right? You had Warnock and Ossoff at one point that helped in 2020. Warnock kept running over and over again. And so, the idea of it as a swing state still hasn't been proven. One presidential election does not make a swing state, but they are feeling different now with Harris at the top, that 10,000 person rally, what Latasha's talking about the way, the energy that's in those rooms. We were at the Milwaukee event last week, and it feels like an entirely different campaign. The excitement that's within the party right now, we called it a sugar high.
Bro, this is pure propaganda. Like, it's not even it's not even slightly hidden. It's just pure propaganda.
The rally that Kamala Harris put together in Atlanta, and that was embarrassing. You have Megan Thee Stallion on stage twerking, and it goes to show you that that's the best that she could do. That goes to show you what she thinks of us. She thinks that's what we want to see. And I just hate to see it. And it was just a clown show. It was a circus. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what, out of all the musicians, all the things you could put together, you chose Megan Thee Stallion to twerk on stage. It was just ridiculous. If y'all don't vote this year, I completely understand why. I know that sounds bad, but Yeah, that was ridiculous. And that's the same thing Biden did. I remember when he got Cardi B, he interviewed her, and it's just like, what are you interviewing Cardi B for? Once again, it goes to show you they try to appeal to us by hip hop and stuff like that. Like that's what all of us want to see. Like, no, that doesn't stand for all of us. What do you think, Corey?
So Kamala Harris brought her fake Southern accent having ass to Atlanta yesterday.
In a possible sugar high playbook this week, but it seems like they might be able to sustain it. In Georgia, it's going to be tough, right? All of these states that are swing states are going to be tight, and they're going to have to run up the margins on young voters, black voters, and brown voters, right? They have to figure out how to do that, but they feel much better about Georgia than they did even actually a week ago.
Even a week ago. Oh, how much things have changed. You know, the backdrop of this entire conversation is, in fact, also the running mate search. Eugene, there's new reporting from Politico tonight that you have learned some things. What have you learned? What can we? When are we going to have a decision?
Yeah. First, we found out that she was going to be in Philly on Tuesday.
And she got up on that stage. Before she got up on that stage, she came out to Quavo and Megan Thee Stallion got up on that presidential rally stage and started twerking in her blue Democratic outfit, which was a small skirt with a crop top. I'm highly disappointed in the city of Atlanta. I'm highly disappointed in the city of Atlanta. She came here, she's from California, but she came here with a fake Southern accent. Look at the way that she was talking, trying to get our attention. You're trying to get our vote, and the crowd goes crazy. Like Quavo says, they walk it like I talk it. And the crowd went wild. Are y'all serious, black people? Is this all we're worth in Atlanta? Are y'all serious? She comes putting on this fake accent. She's an Indian from California with a white mother. She's never lived in the South. She's married to a Caucasian man. Where did this accent come from? This entire speech was a cringe. It was hard to watch. Like my bones were aching while watching this speech. This wasn't even a speech. This was a circus, a clown show. Come on, y'all. We got to do better than this, Atlanta.
Maybe it's just me, but
all right, let me give this one a chance to speak.
Happen. And more importantly, I think, is that the process that the vice president is going through right now is so different than the process that she went in 2020, not just because of the time constraint, but because there are arguably less people involved in the process and because they have to do it in a way where maybe they're going to be taking a chance because they can't vet all the way because there's potentially not enough time. Now, I think that we may be seeing that kind of play out on the Republican side. I think Democrats are hoping it doesn't play out the same on their side, but the process is much different. Still, though, I think Eugene is right that in some ways it looks the same. I know a story I did last week that Harris was telling her advisors that she wants somebody to balance the ticket. And it's not just electorally, but it is governing, and that she wants somebody who...
Oh, and an aside, Ed told me that who's that guy from North Carolina dropped out. The ex-Democrat governor from North Carolina dropped out as a potential VP. So there goes North Carolina. I thought that might have been a good hedge against Mark Robinson running as a Republican, because, you know, you can't have a black man as a Republican governor of a southern state. That would be, that is too narrative destroying.
with Meg Thee Stallion at the Kamala Harris rally, does it just not feel forced? It feels out of place. It's not genuine. And I get it. Kamala wants all the black vote. So you get a black rapper to rap her song, a popular song. You get another black rapper from Atlanta to talk. And he says some black stuff. I forgot the quote he said, but it was something that he probably put in the song. But it just does not feel genuine. Like, I understand you want to pander to the crowd, but it feels so forced. Am I the only one that feels that way? What are you doing? I'm bad. My dog over here tripping. But I'm just so it just feels so forced. It feels so out of place. And like every time I see it, I cringe. Cause it's like, why are y'all saying all this stuff? Because it's corny. Like, who is her writers? Who was planning all of this? Whoever it is in charge of this, do better. Cause you're not making her that much likable. Like, am I gonna vote for her? Probably, because I'm super against Project 25. Because that is a whole nother topic. And I'm still looking into it.
Uh-oh. Project 25, SKC. A quick one. If we have one, it's going to be a quick one, probably.
But it's so forced. It makes me not really like her for real.
Megan.
Who potentially would be a global champion, a global leader, like the way that she has tried to be in her vice presidency. But also, she understands the way that she was utilized as vice president and potentially the ways that she maybe wasn't utilized the best. And she doesn't want to recreate those mistakes. So I think that this whole process is happening in the front drop, and all things in the backdrop is how did she.
Whoa. Okay. You see what I'm saying? Listen, man, black heterosexual men are being written out of Western civilization. I don't know if I said that on a stream or made that an official quote, but yes, heterosexual black men are being written out of Western society. I mean, look at this. I mean,
I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. That wasn't it, my sister. And I love you. It's no beef between us. You know, honestly, you're the only woman I would ever consider, right? So when I tell you this out of love. Like, that wasn't it, my love.
Now, what I find to be hilarious.
So I'll say SKC. Shame is powerful, man. I mean, I don't know if you were here for that, but yeah, man, I think I'm gonna go get my haircut just so I can engage in this conversation. All right, just so I can play the clip of Megan Thee Stallion twerking to Black Democrats and say, "Wait, this is what you're voting for? This is what you're attracted to? Tell me. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so." But all right, so gonna move on to another small tidbit here. All right, so actually this was posted on Twitter, so let's take a look. So standards, we're big on standards. We're big on hey Vivian, hello. Standards, right? This is Bessemer City High School 2024-25 uniform requirements. No lounge pants, no tights, no hats or caps, no sunglasses, no bubble slides. They weren't bubble slides. Wow. No open toe sliders, no Crocs. They weren't Crocs. No hoodies nor hoods, no headbands, no bonnets. No bonnets. Man, they gotta tell people not to wear bonnets. No midriff shirts, no body confitted decompression shorts. Okay, so no tight shorts, no biker shorts, no jeans with holes above the knee. Okay, so what do you think? This happened at a school 2.5 hours from my home city. So I think it's good, right? This is going to be good. This is going to be a key thing, right? I think it is good. In general, I'm for higher standards. And Bessemer is a majority Black city by a mile. I think Bessemer is like 80% Black, somewhere around there. And so they went for a dress code, which I am completely in favor of. right? An internal solution to an internal problem. You know, not blaming everybody else on this, that, and the other, right? They're doing what it takes to fix themselves, right? And that's really what it's going to take. So now this is the other city that I couldn't think of yesterday. During the show, my brain said, hey, what about that other video you saw? And it's like, oh, okay, it was this one. This is Chattanooga. And this is from the same guy who did part of the video for yesterday. All right, so let's take a look.
And so it's places like this that's not doing better. And so I think when you look at it from the perspective of people that live in this community, they would say it's not getting better. But if you was to go downtown, the people with capital, they'll say it's getting better.
I guess gentrification isn't for everyone. That was a dude who works for Hope for Inner City. They're a nonprofit here in Chattanooga. I was driving around on the east side of town checking things out because I had heard this part of town was really rough and dangerous. I guess it is, but like the rest of town, it's getting cleaned up fast.
And in here, right, in Chattanooga, it actually is getting cleaned up.
It was my final stop on the Appalachian adventure. I'm here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'd heard conflicting reports about what it was like here these days. Some say it's an emerging tech hub with all these exciting things going on. It also has a reputation as being one of the most dangerous, run-down cities in the country. I wanted to know, which one is it? So I came here for a couple days to poke around and talk with folks and get a feel for the place. I have to say, this place is on its way up. But I don't think there's too many people here who would want me to tell you that. Choo-choo! Chattanooga, choo-choo! All aboard! You're probably like, that's not a train. Well, it kind of is. We're on the Lookout Mountain Incline Railway. This thing's a mile long, and it goes straight up to the top of the mountain in town. I mean, straight up. They call it the world's steepest passenger railway. So steep.
Okay, so you get it. It's better than Jackson.
Known as a real-life Appalachian ghetto. It was just miserable here. It was voted America's dirtiest city. But you've heard it all before. Things that made this place so wonderful all started to leave, and it all began to crumble. By the 1980s, Chattanooga was bad. Got really run down when all the jobs left. Crime was some of the highest in the country, and it became known as a real-life Appalachian ghetto. It was just miserable here. It was voted America's dirtiest city. People said the air here was mustard-colored. That would suck. But this is not a sad story. About 20 years ago, folks in town said, you know what? We should probably start fixing the place up. So they began putting an effort into making Chattanooga great again. We started sprucing up a lot of their neighborhoods and tearing down old buildings, and, well, things have been getting better here.
This is what revitalization looks like, right? Revitalization does not look like this. This is what revitalization does not look like.
Chattanooga's on the banks of the Tennessee River, right on the Georgia state line. A lot of people actually commute in from Georgia, where housing's a lot cheaper, because this place is really starting to blow up. Lots of people are moving to Tennessee in general. It's warm and conservative and cheap, and there's no income tax. They just don't have as much of the BS here. Things are going pretty well in Chattanooga right now. There was a little tech boom here a while back, and that brought in a bunch of new talent. If you're a tech geek from California, this place is heaven. You can walk around and not step in bum poop or pay $4,500 for a teeny little apartment. Man, oh man. All over town, they're tearing down old buildings and making room for new businesses and condos. You can drive on some of the streets here and literally see the change happening block by block. Run down, abandoned, and then not that. It's kind of interesting to see what's going on here now. Like, check this out. Over here on the side of town by the river, they're putting in a computer chip company in a part of town that used to have an old steel mill. That's cool. And on the north end of downtown, they took out a bunch of abandoned warehouses there and put in this fancy new aquarium that a lot of people are buzzing about.
Progress.
I didn't have time to look at the fish, though. I was too busy for that. Chattanooga has a funky, weird, hipstery vibe to it now. It has some Tennessee twang, but it's not all honky-tonk like over in Nashville. Some people have compared this place to a mini Austin, Texas, the emerging culture that's going on, but without the bums and the cost of living.
Yeah, and I can totally see that Austin vibe, having lived in Austin, because there's also a large college in Chattanooga. So I mean, it's basically a college town as well.
I heard about a place called Whiskey Cowgirl on the south end of downtown. People are like, you gotta go see that place. There used to be an abandoned building that some investors bought and turned this place into one of the coolest restaurants in town. I'd say it was really cool. If I was a young kid, I would have whooped it up here all the time. They got live music and a giant swimming pool out back. And there's plans to do stuff like this all over town.
I mean, look at that. Could you imagine that in Jackson? I mean, bro.
But not everybody's happy about it. Go over to the hood on the east side of town, and it's not the same vibe.
No, it's not. This is what growth looks like, right? This is what growth looks like. So let's go to our old friend Zillow. So let's look at, you know me and maps. If y'all are on this channel, you know I love my maps. So, all right. So, where is the east side, the hood, right? That's going to be right here. All right. See the orange dots? So let's go to the east side. Darn it. Come on. And what do you see? All right. What do you see? You see rehab. Look at this. Oh boy. You see innovation and gentrification. That is what you see. Yes, yes. Where is the... This chart only goes to 2023. Oh, you don't have any tax history. Huh, that's weird. So this is probably an empty lot then. Yeah, this is probably just an empty lot. And I think this is a drawing. Yeah, that's a drawing. So basically that's an empty lot of something that is going to be built. Right? So the east side, exactly. This is an investor, and you can tell they took a lot, fixed it up. Look how they've graded the backyard, took all this up, cleaned it all out, right? New fixtures, right? This is a flip. This is what's happening. This is what revitalization looks like.
This is the east side of Chattanooga. I'd asked around, and I was told this side of town still showed a lot of signs of old Chattanooga. Gang violence, drug use, shootings, poverty, hookers. Supposedly, Chattanooga has the ugliest hookers in the country, at least according to the producers of Cops, which made episodes here from time to time. That's mean. Of course, drug overdoses are on the rise here, just like the rest of America. I've heard all the officers have to carry Narcan now. Some will stick 4.
Dang, bro. Ugliest hookers? That is jacked. That is jacked up. Okay, let me skip ahead.
Even up to Memphis. It was also called one of the country's 10 worst run cities. Man, oh man. But I've been to a lot of places, and there are way worse run places in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Come on now. This is another bad area in town. It's one of the housing projects over by the river. I hear this is where the Bloods stay at.
Oh, this is by the river? Oh, this is getting bulldozed. This is by the river. This is done. I look at the sign. No firearms allowed sign. Oh God, you know where you're at.
The good news is it's getting better here. There's less shootings now, and they just elected a conservative prosecutor who's enforcing the law more. That's good.
Enforcing the law? What? Why would you do that?
Let's go back to the guy I talked to earlier. So this guy and the woman with him, they work for Hope for the Inner City. Their goal is to break the cycle of poverty on the bad side of town. I stopped here for a bit. I asked him, hey, I hear Chattanooga's getting way better. How do you feel about that?
Now this is the part that jogged my memory from yesterday's show. Right?
Said it might be getting better for people with money and for the tourists, but over here it's not improving. They said it might even be worse in the hood now.
I probably couldn't tell you for sure one way or the other if it's getting better. I think things are changing and it looks different. I think that in some ways crime is getting better, but I think in other ways with like big, like a lot of people coming in from other cities and buying up houses and the gentrification that's happening, I think it's being pushed out of the city more rather than actually solving the issue.
That's right. Yes. Drive it out of the city. Right? Because the solutions aren't political and they're not geographic. Right? There's no way, there's no inherent right poor blacks have to living in an urban area than do poor whites. None.
I think that it's not necessarily being solved, but it's moving from my experience. But
basically what you have is two Chattanoogas. And so when you have two Chattanoogas, you have part of Chattanooga that is doing better, people that have capital, people that have money, people that own land. Yes, that part of Chattanooga is doing wonderful. But then there are areas like this that we stay in, 37404, 37406.
Now pay close attention to his like root causes here.
It's a food desert. There's no grocery store within 5 miles from where I'm standing right now.
Okay, now, that's coming up. So there's 2 segments here. He comes back a little later. So let me just posit on this food desert. And I hate that phrase, man. If you're using the word food desert, you're kind of a lame. All right, so here is Chattanooga, right? And I don't know, it's probably might be hard to see on screen, but down here is a mile marker in the lower right-hand corner, which is about 2 miles, right? So the distance from maybe this Aldi's here to this Publix is maybe, I don't know, it looks to be maybe 6 miles total. Yeah, maybe like 6 miles. So this quote unquote desert is probably only about 6 miles across. So there is no way that you are 5 miles from a grocery store. That's just not happening. So, and there are stores in this area. They're just not Publix or Food City or Aldi's, right? And the whole food desert thing is just another way to, it's just a grasping for victimhood. Because I mean, look, nobody made it unlivable but the people that live there. And so what, you got to go to Aldi's or Food City, right? Make your neighborhood profitable, and then you'll have things in it. You'll have things in it. And look, a Fresh Market, I don't know if you have a Fresh Market near you, but Fresh Market is a nice little store. That kind of tells you how it's doing, right? Because there are 2 Whole Foods in Chattanooga, right? That's a small town with 2 Whole Foods. That's probably because you also have that college I told you about earlier. So what do you do? Then what do you have? A lot of retirees who are still on pensions, have plenty of surfy income and paid off mortgages. All right. Back to the show.
I kind of think downtown Chattanooga is the perfect size. It's pretty clean, and there's a lot of stuff to do here to entertain you. It's definitely getting more yuppie hip with the little micro breweries and coffee houses springing up.
Yeah, there you go. Mind Kitchen in Chattanooga, Tennessee. That's what I'm talking about.
Why Chattanooga's getting more popular. And obscure internet rankings certainly help. One website called Chattanooga one of the country's top travel destinations. Another one called Chattanooga one of the most welcoming cities in the nation. I don't know how you can measure that clickbait crap. And of course, everybody wants to know about the bums. The homeless problem here isn't anything like I've seen in our big cities. There's a few stragglers around, but they don't let them stay put too long as far as I can see. The biggest homeless eyesore is on the edge of downtown, right in the area where all the gentrification's moving in. I'm going to guess they keep pushing these folks further and further out as the city expands its improvement footprint. I heard a previous mayor bought a motel in a city nearby and sent his homeless people to live there. Well, at least they're actually
Shout out to that mayor.
Trying to fix the problem, I guess. This homeless guy has a damn laptop. In all my years of traveling and seeing the biggest homeless camps in the country, I've never seen a bum with a computer before. Well, they say tech's moving in here.
Know what that tells you? Homelessness has nothing to do with poverty.
There's your proof. I talked to a police officer who lives here. His name's Marvin. You'll meet him in a little bit. I asked Marvin, why are there so many cop cars everywhere downtown? He told me they've had a lot of problems with the troublemakers who come downtown from the hood. They vandalize and harass people, so they're cracking down on that a lot more. Well, good for you guys, Chattanooga PD. You guys
wait a
get an
minute.
A in my book. This homeless town from the hood. They vandalize and harass people, so they're cracking down on that a lot more. Well, good for you guys, Chattanooga PD.
Hey, I didn't catch that before. Y'all catch that in the background? AT&T Field. So that's probably a minor league baseball, and minor league baseball is great fun. I don't know if you have not done it, I highly recommend it. You know, nice hot afternoon, way too much light beer and a hot dog. It's a good time. It's a good time.
They vandalize and harass people, so they're cracking down on that a lot more. Well, good for you guys, Chattanooga PD. You guys get an A in my book. That's the opposite from what I saw happening in California. They let those punks run wild out there. Even at night, it's pretty chill downtown here. You can walk around and not really be bothered too much. Well, no place is perfect. A lot of Chattanooga's neighborhoods are pretty standard. A lot of towns, pretty middle class. Here's what that looks like. Folks don't make a lot here. I think the average family brings in mid-40s for salaries, but
Now this doesn't look bad at all, man. You know? Doesn't look bad at all. Nothing's overgrown. Paint looks pretty fresh.
You've been here for a while. Your home costs aren't too bad. $50K goes a lot further here than in Nashville, I tell you.
I mean, heck, if you could work from home, dude, you know, and you wanted a smaller city and to homeschool or, you know, actually I checked out the area. There are a couple of decent private schools too in the area. Yeah, man, this will be a hit. I mean, honestly, what drew me to Chattanooga is the opportunity and the development, right? So it is growing.
Home prices are reaching $300K right now, but they're climbing fast, mister. Like 20% in the last year alone. A lot of people want to move here. Rent was cheap, but it's not anymore either. $1,000 a month won't get you anything but the hood anymore these days. That sucks. And of course, religion's a big deal here. You see churches all over town. People will ask you if you're baptized or if you know Jesus, but they're not as pushy here as they are down in the deep south. I want to show you the fancy part of town. This is what they call North Shore. I saw some huge mansions up here. If you're thinking about moving to Chattanooga and you have deep pockets, you want to settle in across the river on the north end. Homes here are pushing $900K at this point. It's kind of the average home price. I bet there's a lot of old money up here in these parts. Holdouts from the old manufacturing and energy days and all.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
One of
about.
the coolest little neighborhoods in Chattanooga is on this side of the river. This little village area has all the comforts of home without the fuss. Huh, everyone? A real bubble on the north side of the river, I say.
Did you know Chattanooga was the first city to have 1 gigabyte internet speeds?
I did know that, Mappy. But hey, that means that they can watch you and I without buffering.
I wonder if the poor people on the east side of town have fast internet.
I'd imagine they would. You can't throttle the internet for some people and not others.
Yes, you can. Just saying.
Can ya?
I think a lot of people in the bad area have track phones anyways.
Mappy, what are you even talking about? Sometimes I wonder why I even bring you on these trips. Jerk. While out and about in Chattanooga, I saw a lot. I was here for 2 whole days. I already showed you the Whiskey Cowgirl. That place is awesome. I had a drink at the Southern Belle Riverboat, which is parked right on the Tennessee River. That was cool. It doesn't move anymore. But this is totally Southern charming, huh? I forgot to record when I was inside, but I promise you it's really neat inside that.
Okay, time for another contrast.
It's not for everyone yet. They still have a lot of challenges. Seems like Chattanooga is still maturing, like a cake that's half baked in the oven.
Now look at that. Look at that. That is a dilapidated building. All right. But it's got, looks like there's some sort of construction. They put some new building materials in there. Oh, and there's a fence like it's an actual job site. Yes. Not this, right? This looks like a deserted wasteland where there are bricks laying on the pavement. There's no development going on here, right? And if you were here yesterday, this guy swears that the city is being developed. It's not. It's not. What would you make a house, Shaka? This property here? Yeah, man, this would be a good, like, if someone wanted to buy this and rehab it, right? Buy the whole building, put some apartments up top, and then make like the first and second floor his home, or even the third floor. I mean, how much you can get, how much space you need. I try to make the upstairs tenants pay for it, or make them the downstairs tenants and they pay for it, or like put a business down here. You know, I'm cheap like that.
I tell you what, it's good to see a place getting better. It's refreshing, gives you hope in the country. Because so much of the U.S. is getting worse. And I get worn down talking about that all the time. For people like this who feel they're being shut out of the enthusiasm and the growth and the excitement, well, they're just going to have to adapt. They're going to have to improve their situation, or they're going to get passed by. Just like all the other people we saw in Appalachian land. I crisscrossed these mountains for 3 weeks, and I'd have to say evolution is the main takeaway. It's either adapt or die up here. You got to change. If you don't, you're going to just fade away into forgotten. So crime is not getting better around here?
No, crime is getting worse. I mean, not just here, all over America. I mean, crime is getting worse. You know, we have police chiefs that's doing their best, that's trying to put a handle on crime. But when you have broken families, when you have people that's living under the poverty line, you're going to continue to have crime. And so all we can do right now is do our best to try to work.
Broken families, right? He knows the source.
Together with those that have and the people that have not. If we work together, we can possibly make a change.
If you could do one thing to fix the problem with crime here, what would it be?
One is, I would say, family. The family breakdown in our communities is what's really, I believe, driving a lot of the crime. For instance, when you have a father in the home, a father is more likely to have his children in check, to make sure his children are getting home on time and things of that nature. In our communities, you have a 72% single parent rate. And so fathers are simply not in the home, whether it be because of, incarceration, men being locked up in prison.
Wah, wah. See, but it comes back to these same old excuses, right? Like SKC, like you were saying, so close, but then boom, it's incarceration. I mean, and there just there aren't enough black men in jail to account for 70% out of wedlock births. You just aren't. There aren't enough to account for only 46% of black children living in two-parent homes.
Or whether it's the child support system, where men are being locked.
Man, and to what you're saying, let me highlight this. They can't change. I got a tip on success a long time ago in my 20s, that success in life, it's about who you know, like that old adage of, show me your 3 closest friends and I can tell your future, right? And you know something significant about a person by the closest friends. But this guy said, it's also the people you won't stop associating with, right? It's also those guys. So you won't let go of the old associates and you can't move forward. And I remember doing something dumb. And, I thought to myself, I got to get out of here, man. I got to get it. If I stay in my hometown, I'm going to end up in prison, dude. I got to go. Like, I have to leave. And I got the opportunity and I was gone, gone. And it's odd, I thought about this today, and it's like I know the same dude over and over and over again. Like in real life, I know the same dude, right? They got a nice home with some equity in it, married with kids, educated, skilled, has a solid family, has a solid moral code. I know the exact same dude, just spray painted in different races. You know what I mean? So I took that particular piece of advice to heart, right? I implemented it in my own life. I'm not hanging out with the community at all. Matter of fact, I find it repugnant. I'm not even around it. So yeah, you got to leave people behind, man. Hardly.
Locked out of their homes because of child support, or they haven't paid. There's a lot of different issues that go into that. And so, but I would say if it was one thing that we can fix, I would believe getting fathers back into the home. That's where we saw families thriving and America was thriving when we had more family intact families.
See, so he knows. He knows he just can't put, 2 and 2 together. Right? It's like 2 plus 2 is.
What is smart, really? What's smart is your ability to use information correctly. No.
So close.
Fathers back in the home.
One, child support reform, prison reform. That's one of the things when you got men going to jail for petty crimes for years upon years, when then their son grow up in a home where he's not there, and then you have child support.
Again, the wrong answer. Don't enforce the law, and just people are doing 6 years for what? Jaywalking? I swear they act like a black boy that is destined for Oxford on a Rhodes scholarship, and they're just parachuting out of the trees, fast roping in like, freeze, get on the ground. That's not happening, right? It's not happening.
Support reform. I believe equal share parenting is a law that needs to happen where there's a divorce or the child.
Oh, and another thing, child support reform, sure, right? But here's one thing, patriarchy loves child support, right? Patriarchy loves it because I in no way want to pay for somebody else's kids. None. Right? And if black men weren't allergic to power, they'd be using the system against Keisha, right? Instead of hollering about it, they'll be using it against, right? Because that it goes both ways. Heck, I said it before, man. If I was in that position, I'd put myself on child support immediately. There would be no way that could be thrown at me years later because, she got mad I took my new girlfriend to Vegas, right? Ain't happening.
Child is not with is not in an intact home. There should be equal time given to the father. And so those are just two policies that we could change overnight that would change fathers being in the lives of children, that would reduce the crime.
So let's talk about the bad a little bit because that's what people want to hear first. And I talked about.
All right, let me skip ahead a little bit here. He's going to be speaking to a police officer in Chattanooga.
And I went by there and I was like, hey, man, like, I'm hearing Chattanooga's getting better. I can see visually things are improving. I hear crimes going down, and they pretty much cut me off and were like, it's better for the people with the money, but over here, it's worse. It's not good. Do you hear that ever when you're out and about?
Oh, wait, I missed the part. Hold on.
Philosophy?
Yeah, it's always been a problem for years, but I think the department has taken better approaches. We figured out, the time windows and when those kinds of things happen, the right strategy on how to address it and how to, reprimand or keep it from happening again, set deterrence. And luckily, the justice system, the county attorney generals, whether it's on the adult side or the juvenile, they're on board with trying to keep that stuff from happening again. So it's been having a good turnout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I talked.
Hey, they're cleaning up the city, and it helps not having a Soros DA. Let's see. No, Tice, the most white trash meth lands aren't usually in major cities. They're out there. And but Chattanooga in particular was more economic, devastation, steel, stuff like that. But they have been cleaning it up, and it's gaining momentum.
Some people, so I stopped by, there's a nonprofit on the east side of town, and I went by there and I was like, hey man, like, I'm hearing Chattanooga's getting better. I can see visually things are improving. I hear crimes going down, and they pretty much cut me off and were like, it's better for the people with the money, but over here, it's worse. It's not good. Do you hear that ever when you're out and about?
Yeah, I hear it. And you can also see it over the last decade. They've been closing off a lot of the public housing. There's 2 public housing complexes left, but that's put a lot of those people in a between a rock and a hard place. The Public Housing Authority would try to remove them, try to set them up somewhere with like vouchers, but it's It really depends on who you ask. It's not going to benefit everybody, of course, but there's always.
Yep. Again, let me replay that.
They've been closing off a lot of the keep that stuff from happening again. So it's been having a good turnout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I talked to some people. So I stopped by. There's a nonprofit on the east side of town, and I went by there and I was like, hey man, like I'm hearing Chattanooga's getting better. I can see visually things are improving. I hear crime's going down, and they pretty much cut me off and were like, it's better for the people with the money, but over here it's worse. It's not good. Do you
see? And that's part of the problem, right? It's better for the people with the money. And if you're just black, you can never be the people with the money, right? It's antithetical to your identity to be that.
Hear that ever when you're out and about?
Yeah, I hear it. And you can also see it over the last decade. They've been closing off a lot of the public housing. There's 2 public housing.
Boom, closing off public housing. I think that needs to be done more within communities. You just got to shut it off, man. You got to shut it off. That's why, or that's how you get rid of the lower caste, basically. I mean, you just can't have affordable housing. You can't have all these programs that, encourage reckless breeding by reckless breeders and everything else. You just can't do it. It's poison for the cities. And just, hey, poor black people got to get along like poor white people out in the hinterland somewhere, or maybe, I don't know, move to Middletown, Ohio. I don't know. But there's no inherent right to living in an urban area.
Housing complexes left, but that's put a lot of those people in a between a rock and a hard place. The Public Housing Authority would try to remove them, try to set them up somewhere with like vouchers, but it really depends on who you ask. It's not going to benefit everybody, of course, but there's always caveats to growth.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of gentrification. I know that some people hate it because they say it pushes people out, but you gotta, if you don't, the places, our cities are gonna just eventually just erode. I drove through West Virginia for like 9 days on my way to Chattanooga, and those places are beyond repair. That's what happens to cities are not indestructible. You have to rebuild them or they'll be dust one day. And I know it sucks for the people. My whole thing is the theme I think I took away from the trip was like evolution and adaptation. You have to be able to change in that region because things are changing pretty fast. Some places are doing very well. Some places are not. The ones that haven't been doing very good for a long time, and there's a reason for that because nobody's willing to make change. They just stick to their guns on what they've been doing forever. Industries have left. Chattanooga suffered a lot of that, and they have found a way to turn things around. You just got to adapt, man. That's how I feel.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, in the 60s and 70s, Chattanooga was named one probably the dirtiest city in the whole country. Because of all of our steel mills and mills that we had back then. But now, we turned around to one of the most scenic places in the Southeast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good for you guys, man. You had talked and briefly, and then we'll talk about the good stuff. You had mentioned the problem with overdoses and drugs. That's a national problem. Is there from a police officer standpoint, is there hope? Is there optimism? Is there a plan, or are we just build after you got that? It sucks that you have to take training. There's enough problems in the community.
Oh, and listen to what this guy says about his particular plan.
I was told this side of town. There's enough problems in.
So this is a police officer, right? So listen to what he says about the future and his own plans.
In the communities that we live in, that we have to take some time away from officers, that have to learn new training on how to solve new drugs that are popping up, instead of being, the time you guys should be able to go out and use that extra time to go out and get to know the community more and walk streets, but you got to go to training and learn how to do Narcan stuff. That sucks.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So how do people feel about the future of Chattanooga, man? It seems to be on the upswing. Are people excited? Are you excited? Are you going to stick around there for a while?
Yeah, look, things are looking good over here. I'm thinking about staying here. I don't see any reason to move. I'm pretty happy here. The interstate is being expanded. It's being widening out a little this year. It's going to be a project. So there's going to be hopefully less of a traffic jam from our commuters between, Atlanta or Knoxville into Nashville. So I-24 is going to be expanded. Thank goodness. That looks good. Hopefully, that's always our fear, is the fear that the city will outrun, it's infrastructure, right? We don't want to end up like Austin, where it's like, I hear this horrendous traffic jams. But yeah, the city's growing. Developments are coming in. People are, it depends on who you ask. People are excited for the growth. People are grumpy about it. Less parking lots, more apartment buildings, kind of deal. But yeah, it's looking good.
Yeah, I talked to some folks in Central Tennessee, sort of over on the plateau there. over in Roane County, and they're like, we're so tired of Californians and New Yorkers coming here and trying to change things. They're like, if you want to come here because it's cheap and it's rural and everyone's nice and you've heard about, Tennessee is like the new place to go.
Yeah, so your boy's staying, right? Your boy's going to grow here, which I think is a positive sign overall for the city when the actual officers want to invest, right? A lot of places, some police officer from 3 states over who lives 2 counties away from the jurisdiction. I think it's bad for the community. I think that's bad for policing. When someone moves in and wants to be a part of the community, I think that is positive. And by part of the community, I don't mean you should live in the same neighborhood you patrol, of course, but if it rains on where you patrol, it should rain on you too. You understand?
Oh man, no, yeah, that'd be horrendous.
I don't even know how. There's entire neighborhoods that they've constructed out of plywood and tarps and
That's
whatever the hell they can
California,
find.
not
And
Chattanooga.
places like Oakland. Can you imagine having to try to go in there and you get a call and you got to go into some Hooverville shantytown thing that.
It's like that Chaz zone in Seattle or wherever it was in Portland. Reminds me of that.
Well, keep doing your thing, man. Keep Tennessee great, and don't let all that stuff infect your state because they're gonna try, man. They're trying here where I live, and we gotta just stand our ground and say, you want to do that, you go to the coast. You don't do that here.
Yep. Exactly.
I mean, I live in North Georgia, and a lot of people who can't afford to live in the city now are living in Rossville or East Brainerd, things like that. So I think it just, I don't think it necessarily is being solved, but
it's being moved.
It's being moved. Yeah.
We use Chattanooga.
They're two Chattanoogas.
Okay.
It's 2 Chattanoogas. Some taste good, and that's for the ones that's upper class, middle class. But for the ones that's lower class, no. We still got a whole bunch of balance. Like you said, the money. And then they're coming in and taking over. Where low income houses at. They're moving our elderly out, and people really that can't afford it out.
Okay, but so crime is not getting better at all? No. Okay. You would agree?
I would think so. I'm less. I'm less in it than AJ is, but
so what?
Yes.
Started to leave, and it all began.
Why did I click that? But yes, that's what should happen, right? There are different cities for different things, different areas have different characteristics. Cities are where the wealthy people live, basically. That's just what it is. And for whatever reason, America has coagulated Black poverty in urban areas, right? And that is for only one group. That is not like natural, right? The 70s brought about all these programs and aimed it at Black people. And now we have these exacerbated tensions because this is something that should not be.
Living in Rossville or East Brainerd, things like that.
Like you said, the money. And then they're coming in and taking over. Where low income houses at. They're moving our elderly out, and people really that can't afford it out.
Okay, but so crime is not getting better at all? No. Okay. You would agree?
I would think so. I'm less. I'm less in it than AJ is, but
so there has to be something better. Would you say that it's at all better? It's not improved in all sense?
I think
the games are getting a little worse.
Okay.
And my perspective that the mayor should ask the officers to do their job for us, these little young boys on curfew. They supposed to be in at 11 o'clock. They in 12, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. And that's why the crime's so bad.
There we go.
Gotta manage the zoo. You gotta manage the zoo.
He's going to be able to speak more to that than I am. I think he has a broader perspective of the city that I do not have. And I think that...
But I love my chief of police. She's one of a kind.
Are you looking to move and need advice? I do consulting.
All right. There we go. So, yeah, that's it. It's a tale of 2 cities, right? And I think that, Jackson has become the place where, Black people that get pushed out of Chattanooga may move to be honest. So, yeah. That's pretty much what it is. Let's see. SKC, you still there? I will hang out for a few minutes if you want to do a panna. Oh, and so, yeah, and you know I like maps, of course. And so we've got the yellow dots are black folk. Hey, Dice. What's up, sir? Hey, you're on mute, Tice.
I hadn't said anything yet because I had a video I wanted you to show, and it's a short video that sums up a lot of what you said. Because if I hear this, I thought you were going to explain your map, but hang on a second. I'm going to pull the video up in a second.
No, go ahead.
But and this is a tired thing. I think I even said it on SKC show yesterday or sub show. I was paneled out yesterday, man, for real. Hoop Jargon actually did something last night, and he asked me to join. I'm like, dude, I can't do another panel where SKC says panna, you know. So give me a second. I've almost got it pulled up. But this has long been debunked, but it's always good when someone can explain it. Someone can explain it very succinctly. So I'm going to get the share screen on.
Okay.
Let's see. Window. Is it this one or this one? I'm a little confused. Okay. You know, the great philosopher. I think I'm sharing. I said, I think I am.
Mm-hmm.
Am I? Yeah, the great philosopher, Killer Mike. You know him, right, SKC? SKC?
Who is that?
I said, you know the great philosopher, Killer Mike, right?
No, I've never heard of it.
Oh, okay. That doesn't sound like SKC.
Yeah, you're a little garbled, SKC.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna play it. So yeah, I'm sharing the window, so the sound should come through. And if it doesn't, just let me know.
Yeah, I'm not getting any sound. Do you share the audio? Hey,
what's the sound? What's the sound?
Add it back. No, it wasn't. Add it back with the sound. You might have hit the toggle button on the lower right.
Hold on a second. See, if I go on mute, I always get this confused. So if I share the whole window instead of the if you share the whole window, oh, you know what? I was sharing the whole window. Okay.
Yeah, you can do entire screen and then.
Yeah, I did entire screen, and let's see if it plays. Ready, set, go. Still no sound?
Yeah, I can't hear it. Let me see if I can bring it up.
Here, I hear it. You play it if you don't mind. I'll put it in the back chat. And then I may have to reboot because I do. My memory is running low here. I've been talking to myself all this time, and I've been on mute. I put it in the back chat. My bad, or what have you. I know you hate dead air.
Oh, no problem. I got it right here.
Okay, yeah, it's a brief video, but he debunks some things very well. I'll go on mute now.
Greedy people that crime and violence, you could severely mitigate. Yeah. You could if you had all these community programs, if you think about the amount of, I bet if they calculated out, probably a wash. The amount of money you'd spend to fix things versus the amount of money you would save by not having as much crime.
I agree. We end poverty, we fix crime.
You fix a load of it, that's for sure. There'd still be sociopaths and greedy people.
You don't have that, but far less than crimes of opportunity like robbing moms of their purses at gas stations, carjackings. You're not going to see stolen cars. You're not going to see burglaries. We need to bring a lot of stuff back to America. We need to start making shit again. We need to start refocusing on what we can be doing in the house.
Okay, so that was Mr. Michael Render, who goes by the stage name Killer Mike. And let me just first say that I actually enjoy a lot of his music and think he has a lot of important things to say, but this I strongly disagree with. First of all, he's validating the false myth that crime is conflated with poverty.
The shooter murdered the employee who worked here at the smoke shop just doing his job.
And this myth is propagated in a manipulative way by policymakers and social engineers who exploit people's ignorance.
If you want to get tough on crime, let's deal with the causes of crime.
Now, I'm not sitting here claiming to be more intelligent than Killer Mike, and I'm actually willing to forgive him for this because he's an artist, and artists tend to be more idealistic than realistic. But here's the fact. Crime has more to do with culture than with what's in your bank account. Let's say, for example, Ames, Texas, and let's compare it to, say, Southside Chicago. Now, Ames, Texas at 84% is blacker than Southside Chicago, and it's poorer than Southside Chicago with a 49% poverty rate. I believe the median income in Ames, Texas as of 2022 was like $38,000 per household compared to Chicago, which is like $40-something thousand per household. Now, when you look at Ames, Texas, their crime rating is a B+ compared to Chicago, which is an F. So how does Ames, Texas have significantly less crime than Southside Chicago when it's blacker and poorer? This statistic, just like many, flies in the face of the notion that poverty equals crime. But you know what? I actually have a book that kind of speaks to the subject. This book here is written by Marva Collins, who was a school.
Okay, before he gets into the great Marva Collins, and that's what he's going to get into. SKC, are you there now?
Yeah, I'm here.
Where's Ames, Texas?
I don't remember.
Oh, you've never heard of it?
No, I've
Okay, and the only reason I'll look it up, and the only reason I'm asking is this. Now, the people who will go against what Chad just described there, they'll probably make some excuse. Well, it's probably more jobs in Ames. I'm going to find exactly where it's a suburb of it.
It's
that's
it's between Houston and Beaumont.
Yeah, that's on the other side of Liberty.
Okay, so is that I'm just asking, is that an industrious town? Or no?
No.
No, it's in the middle of nowhere, bro. It's not even. It'd be different if there was like a waterway that went up to it. Then you could say, oh, it probably has some sort of shipping.
Right.
But yeah, there's nothing there.
There's no water. Okay, so it looks like it's okay. Damn, I know. Oh, so Port Arthur. I didn't know that Beaumont was north of Port Arthur. Okay. Anyways, many would debunk that or just punt that away, but how can you not say it's not culture? You have more opportunities in Chicago, contrary to what they say. Oh, all the jobs ain't on the loop anymore, whatever, whatever excuse I've heard from Chicago. Oh, we're too far away from the loop, so we can't get there. Chicago still has a finance hub there. There's plenty of, it's basically, if you have talking about what is Chicago? No, it's the third largest major metro in the United States. That is a damn shame. Any thoughts on this before you let it continue? Like, that to me slam dunks it right there that it's a cultural issue.
Yeah, it very much is. That's why so many black people are moving out of Southside Chicago.
Speaking of which, where Marva Collins taught, you can let it play. Or I just looked at the map myself.
School teacher in Chicago. She actually moved from the South to Chicago. And if you don't know who she is, you should definitely look her up. But she makes a very interesting distinction between Alabama and the South, where she was from, and Chicago, where she ultimately landed, that I think really amplifies the fact that it has more to do with culture than income. She says here, in Alabama, the poor blacks used to wash down every inch of their unpaved wooden shacks with Octagon laundry soap. They swept under their porches, even if they didn't have store-bought brooms. They cut down branches from trees and tied them together with rags or string to make brush brooms. People in Alabama would shake their heads with disgust if they saw a dirty mop hanging out to dry on someone's porch railing or graying sheets dangling from a clothesline. My mother used to say, you can just look outside a person's house and tell what he is. The one thing everyone had in Alabama was pride. That pride was a consistent part of a Southern upbringing. The poor children came to school with neatly sewn patches on their clothes. Their clothes may have been old, but they were clean. If your children were dirty, you didn't belong anywhere in the social order of the town. If you had a dirty water bucket, you were a disgrace. And if you drank from a dipper instead of a glass, you were considered a heathen. If you didn't mow your lawn or clip your hedges, you were ostracized. When your neighbor next door saw you mowing your lawn, he would mow his. Neighborhoods like Garfield Park are made up mostly of people from the South, like myself. I do not understand why my Southern pride stuck while theirs didn't. They have been led to believe that someone else is going to do things for them. Too many black people have fallen into the pattern of listening to the self-proclaimed leaders who find it in their own best interest to make people feel there are free rides in this world. So while Killer Mike might be well-intended in his saying that, look, if we pass more programs, if we pass more policies, this will, in a sense, help uplift those who are in poverty. The fact is, to Margaret Collins' point, there is no policy or program that can instill the values that people actually need in order to have thriving and safe communities. My hope for men like Killer Mike is that rather than embracing the very culture that is detrimental to inner city Black America, that they will, in a sense, challenge the very values that lead to the crime and the poverty even that so haunts these communities. We need more men to stand up and say, look, the culture that we've been buying into is poisonous. The culture.
Hey, and you know what, SKC? When you and Hood were talking about what force has to be applied from the outside to change things, I don't think there does have to be force. I think the force has to be cultural. I think that middle-class Blacks need to turn their backs on redneck behavior and condemn it utterly, and then let the chips fall where they may, i.e. get rid of housing, get rid of low-cost housing, Section 8 and all that. Just let it go and say, look, if you all can't live up to this standard, then you got to go.
That sounds mean, Mr. Friedman.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I was raised, man. It was like there was very much a difference between us and them. Whenever there was some Black people doing some foolishness, you know, my family made it a point to say, we don't do that.
You know, right? What he said about the bucket, you know, and the glass, I can so relate with that. It wasn't that literally, but like you kind of just said, it's like, that's what they do. We don't do this. We clean up our lawns. We, you know, there were certain things, you know, that goes back to standards that you had that you don't really think of back then, you know, from that light, but they're actually setting a standard for you to adhere to, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, now anything that's standard, we want to run away from. I will say this, at the very end of your video, I got tired of the male horse story, but I was proud to see some people coming on TikTok going against that nonsense. Now, I think TikTok is the devil, it's garbage and all that, but it was good. But I guess that's how these kids communicate nowadays, so that's what it is. But it was good to see actual Black people coming out against it. Like, this is what we're trying to put out into the world, you know? So those are my thoughts on that.
All right. I agree.
That we've been buying into is detrimental. If we wish to succeed, if we wish to have successful families, if we wish to have successful children, if we wish to be productive, then we have to reject the culture that we've been embracing since the Blaxploitation era of the 1970s. The Black Panthers got it wrong. The so-called pro-Black intelligentsia got it wrong. And so long as we adhere to the ideas that they propagated, we will always be behind. We have to be good stewards of what we have. We have to be honest men and women. We have to, again, get back into family formation and advocate for one man being with one woman, putting in an honest day's work, doing honest business, not being influenced by pop culture, not buying into the ideals of the spirit of the age, really get back to Christ. And only then will we see our communities do better. Ames, Texas proves to us that poverty does not equal crime. Culture equals crime. And when you reject that notion and blame everything else but the culture that you adhere to, things will only get worse. But again, the thing I find the most troubling is the fact that the social engineers, the data analysts, the statisticians, many of those who actually know this fact, but yet and still continue to try to point to systemic racism as the issue. Again, all they're doing is manipulating the fact that most people don't put two and two together, and they're using the general stupidity of the people to pass legislation that only serves to make things worse. So no, poverty does not equal crime. Bad culture equals crime. And we have to be unapologetic and unafraid to admit that point, because that's the only way that we can turn this thing around. Personally, my hope is that men will come to know Christ, that they will repent of their sins, and that they will begin to take responsibility and accountability for themselves. That's the only solution in all of this. So, you know, the next time you hear somebody saying, oh, you know, poverty equals crime, point to Ames, Texas, and compare it to South Side of Chicago. You can literally do this with any other piece of data. And once you've done that, you then have the platform to advocate for Christian values, as opposed to constantly giving in to this secularist society that hasn't served Western civilization at all.
Boom.
I do have a question.
Yes.
Okay. The
homeless population in Middletown is
sorry. Go ahead.
The hope of all of that. Is that realistic, or?
Well, the Victorians did it.
Yeah, or let me play devil's advocate with you. What are you implying do nothing? I mean, people who are going to listen are going to listen. People that aren't. There's plenty of people I know that the manosphere has converted, contrary to what you may say or think. How many people do you hear in these so-called, I think for myself now, stories? But are you advocating just let things be?
No, I'm just asking if if people really believe that that type of change in mass is possible.
I would say yes, only because the Victorians did it, and what one man can do, another can do. How likely is it? How probable is it? I think that can be bantied about and argued and so forth. But is it possible? Yeah, I think it is.
Well, his counter will be Victorian society was in the 1800s. My point, SKC, that's not even what he was saying. He wasn't saying to do this in mass. He was basically debunking the whole. I'm pardon the lawnmower in the background if you guys hear that. Sorry, the gardener's doing something, but
it always happens to me too. So no apology necessary.
So no, I'm just saying, man. I hate the whole thing that people throw their morals or I could use 1,000 examples. Prior to 1950, the median income of Black people, 40% were living in poverty, yet we had the less crime rate. Okay, there's plenty of these kind of stories. I'm just saying that I'm just hammering home that it gets back to culture where people will have to address that, whether they're going to have to address it or they're going to address it with the judge. How about that?
Yeah, I think there is, and plus we live in a continent-sized country, right? So everything has its beginnings. What I look for are like cultural signposts, which just like this, what I showed earlier. I don't know if you were here for this, SKC, but so Bessemer, Alabama, now has their city high school now has a dress code, right? So they obviously, this is a step forward in having standards, and I don't think it would be like a nationwide movement or anything like that, but here and there, in bits and pieces, you will see things like this. Well, you could see things like this that would make me believe that, hey, maybe something is happening. But I don't think it would be a national thing per se. I definitely don't. Just the country's too big. It's too diverse. But things like this, I could see happening. And to
let me ask you this real quick. I saw that on social media today, and of course it's some whitey liberal chick or whatever who said, "Why do they need to go that far?" or what have you, right? But I digress there. I'm kind of shocked that they don't have uniforms, because I thought many municipalities, had gone the uniform route. Because while I commend that principal or whoever came up with that idea, I mean, damn, look at how many things were pictured in that. You had everything from leggings to bonnets to Crocs to glasses. No, I'm serious. To hats. To I mean, I'm like, man, you need a damn I was gonna outdate myself or whatever and say something that that's the phone is replaced now, but I mean, man, it was like every garment of clothing I see these kids with on that list.
Yeah. I mean, it was exhaustive. And could they do a uniform? Sure. They could have, but I don't know. It's baby steps, man. Baby steps. So maybe you have the high school has its dress code, and then next year, uniforms start up in all the elementary schools in Bessemer, right? So you graduate them from, uniforms to middle school to high school, right? Something like that. Baby steps. They got to start somewhere.
I got you. People. I got to tell you this. They got to put some kind of major in these colleges of like excuse making and obfuscating, because many Black people are like experts at this, man. I read everything from that doesn't affect their learning. I said, okay, I'm going to entertain this. I'm like, it's a distraction. Next. My kid wears what they want and they get I said, exceptions don't change the rule. We weren't speaking about your kid. I mean, it's like, damn, I for everything. Go ahead.
I'm curious then, Sir Tice. I don't know if Freeman played it all, but what the people in Atlanta were saying after the Megan Thee Stallion presidential
rally.
Yeah. I don't know. Did you ever play the part, Freeman, of the of the gay dude at the end?
No, I don't think I did.
Oh man, so it's wild. You have one white like trans dude that's like yeah, that's too far. Where that's going, he's actually sounding like all of us. And then a black gay dude comes behind him and is going full throttle like, no, she didn't even do nothing wrong.
Wow.
In the earlier clip? Because I didn't play the whole thing. In
yeah, in that early clip from a Black conservative perspective.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait. Now you gonna make me go back to it.
Hold your hand when I say this.
Now you gonna make me go back to it. Who, this fool?
Oh no. It was like I think that may be him. I don't know.
She performed at a Kamala Harris rally in Atlanta, talking about she done set Black women back. This is the way they look at us like this. There's a time and there's a place and there's a sense of decorum, and why she out here twerking, da. She barely even did a 1-2. She barely did a left cheek, right thing, drop low, and then swang. She barely did any damn thing, and there was nothing wrong with her performance. First of all, I can tell that y'all are on the outside looking in because y'all didn't even pay attention to performance, because Megan Thee Stallion said nobody gets to tell us what we do with our body, then proceed to play body yada 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 yada. Last time I checked, Megan Thee Stallion has always been an advocate about women having bodily autonomy. Did you not forget the Republicans are trying to take away your bodily autonomy, the right to choose to do with your goddamn body? But Megan Thee Stallion is the person that's holding y'all back, rather than the orange Oompa Loompa bitch, fucking Agent Orange Donald damn Trump, that took away women's reproductive rights. What the fuck are y'all talking about? Why y'all so concerned about what conservatives think about you? Why are you so concerned about what Republicans think about you? They don't even look at us as human beings, but yet you think Megan Thee Stallion is holding Black women back?
Okay. Maybe you're right, SKC. Man, I gotta. God.
And if you go a little bit before that, I think Freeman, the white dude is saying the exact opposite, and he looks like a freak show.
What?
It's a white dude.
Oh, this guy. Oh, God.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just such a sight to see and such an indicator of just the degeneration of politics and culture. I mean, that song was so explicit that she literally couldn't even like perform it. I mean, that video was literally just like noises. And before you even try to call me a hater, I literally been a fan of Megan. I saw her live in like 2018 when she was still touring for Tina Snow. So don't even go there with me. I just think whoever chose Megan to perform, whoever signed off on that for that event, I mean, are we serious?
But look who's defending it though.
I gotta say this while you're laughing. Shout out to Chairman G and Putin. They gotta be like rubbing their hands right now. Like, man, this is gonna be easier than we thought. You know, Americans are softish. You know, I'm just
soft as babies.
Right. I mean, this is our youth. Actually, youth.
Wow.
This is our young generation. This is what manly men do. And I'm not saying they're the most manly men, but you get what I'm getting at. All I see, I think it's just goofy for dudes to get on TikTok themselves, even if they're saying something real serious. But again, I'm a middle-aged man. But them, and then I mean, don't come for me or whatever, because I saw her in 2018. It was like, oh my God, what? This is what it's come to. Good Lord.
So the reason why I bring that up, Freeman, is I understand what they're trying to do in the town that you were talking about with the dress code and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But then it only takes one teacher to come through. I'm just doing what the president did.
That's funny.
If it's good enough for the president, it should be good enough for our school.
Well, you know, where's that? SKC. Here's just for you. Where is this clip at?
Oh man. Thank you, Lord, for allowing me to live during this time.
Uh-oh. Dang, man, my computer is slow.
Oh, man.
You talking about this teacher, SKC?
I'm a black teacher. Of course, I'm gonna wear my grill to school. Yeah. Clear the hallways. Hey, y'all, go to class. Stop playing with me. Thank you. I'm a black teacher. Of course, I'm gonna make sure my young blacks stay on track. Hey, y'all, do y'all work, please? Can we get on track? I'm a black teacher. Of course, they always come to my classroom looking for snacks. I'm a black teacher. Of course, I argue with kids. Don't play with me. Eat some fruit. And I said what I said. Okay. And what do you want to do? I drag kids. I'm a black teacher. Of course, me and my favorite pair sit here and talk shit about the kids on our prep period.
Good grief.
I'm a black teacher. Of course, I'm going to call your mama, even if you ain't in my class, because I don't play that. I'm a black teacher. Of course, my students love me. What up, gang? Period. Let them know. What up, Zai? Period. I'm a black teacher. Of course, I run half the organizations on campus. BSU, basketball, teaching, the principal, disciplinary committee.
Hey, how do you think the principal can't wait to vote? Principal can't wait to get to that ballot box. Oh,
man.
I'm a black teacher. Of course, they call me when they need help disciplining our babies. I'm a black teacher. Of course, I refer to my students as.
she got it. She's the Negro Wrangler.
Yeah, this is the reason why private and homeschool.
Oh, absolutely. Bro, I'm telling you, the best thing that ever happened to public school, right, is that I can afford private school.
Ugly as bald headed as a term of endearment. Go to class, ugly. Period. I'm a black teacher. Of course, my classroom be lit at lunchtime. Of course, I quit every
They certainly are.
Oh my God.
day in my head and still show up for my babies. I'm a black teacher. Of course, I'm gonna wear my UC Davis hoodie to remind them that I'm black and brilliant. I'm a black teacher. Of course, I roast y'all kids and use sarcasm as redirection. Y'all can't hurt my feelings. I invented it.
Speaking of which, let's move to Middletown.
Our first stop is Middletown. Now, Middletown used to be a nice place to live and grow up until the 80s, and then things started going downhill. Good paying jobs left or shut down. Armco Steel sold out to Japan and became AK Steel, and then Cleveland Cliffs took over. A lot of funding's been cut, and then Section 8 housing started to infiltrate Middletown. Drugs are out of control. They closed down their public schools and stopped doing a lot of community things like the 4th of July festival, fireworks. Today, they're tearing down historical buildings at an alarming rate, taking away what many people remember about Middletown growing up. It's like they're erasing what many consider the pride of Middletown.
You see those big empty lots? Those are torn down houses, scraped the earth, and now they're not there. All right, you see that right here and here. This plot here.
Middletown. The city lost its identity and is definitely not the place it used to be by a long shot. Crime-wise, it's not the worst place you could live. It ranks 24th worst in the state, so it could be worse. But drugs and shootings continue to make this a place that needs some TLC, pal. God, we got out of there without getting hurt, but it wasn't pretty. Sadly.
Oh man.
Yeah. So, it is culture. Absolutely not race. And then Springfield, again.
We come to an even worse place to live in Ohio, Springfield. Tucked away out in Clark County, about halfway between Dayton and Columbus, Springfield has very little in terms of jobs, and a quarter of the population lives in poverty, for starters. Springfield also ranks as the state's 7th most dangerous place. This city of 60,000 people saw 2 burglaries a day on average, which is the 2nd most in the state. A lot of that has to do with drugs. Ohio, as a state, has the 2nd highest drug overdose rate of all states, and Clark County ranks 3rd for drug overdoses. Springfield has seen its ODs double over the last 5 years, one reason why they say it's part of the Ohio Heroin Highway. Now, new programs and approaches have helped blunt the overdose curve. For one, they're better at keeping people alive, but access to drug treatment and prevention programs seems to be helping. However, as it stands, there are many people in Springfield who can't pass a drug test and therefore can't work, which will continue to drive the poverty levels up. It's sad that the prettiest and nicest place in their community is the cemetery, but that's the way things are in Springfield. And sadly, the cemetery is a busy place these days. Coming in for a landing in Chillicothe. We built...
Now, I'll play this because I know all these places. And
I didn't know you lived in Ohio. It's funny. So it's called Chillicothe. I used to always think it was Chilcoy. Okay.
No, Chillicothe.
Built this city. We built this city and now it sucks.
I was gonna say because football is so big in Ohio, you end up, if you watch the newscast and you watch football, you end up knowing all the names of all the small towns because they will tell you the scores. And Chillicothe, Wapakoneta, Lima, Findlay, all this stuff. They just tell you tons of scores all the time, so you end up learning all the names of all the small towns.
People in Warren are like, I thought we were bad. Chillicothe takes the cake for shady druggies who linger at gas stations and liquor stores. The poverty level is high and the spirits are low. And the lingering smell from the paper plant is defeating. Again, due to the high levels of drug addiction, crime is bad here. There's only one other place in Ohio where there are more drug-related robberies and crimes than Chillicothe. Every year, a resident here has a 1 in 13 chance of being robbed. Ross County ranks 3rd in the state for number of overdoses per capita. Are we seeing a pattern here already? Not surprising, considering this town's at the base of the Appalachian Mountains. The paper mill in town's the county's 4th largest employer, but they keep laying more and more people off. The hospital in town puts quite a few people to work, and there are a few other manufacturing plants here, but after that, it's pretty much a government job. Now they're working on revitalizing the downtown area, and that's improved, so that's great. Good job, Chillicothe. Now they need to work on keeping the drug addicted from loitering downtown so people will actually want to go down there. I mean, this was the original capital of Ohio a long time ago. Pippi Longstocking. Ah, that was uplifting. But our next stop, Toledo, is not. A quarter of the city's 275,000 people lives in poverty. Per capita, Toledo has between double and triple the number of assaults, rapes, and burglaries than other cities on this list. Abandoned and dilapidated houses means there's drug dens around every corner. The schools are terrible and overcrowded. Toledo public schools just scored an F, according to the Ohio Department of Education. The roads are notoriously bad. Some say Toledo's becoming Detroit South. But at least there's a museum and a zoo here. And by zoo, I don't mean around every corner.
Downtown.
The schools are terrible and
That is downtown. Oh, wait till it shows the facade of this building.
Crap.
It looks like a bomb went off in front of it. I mean, these are boarded up windows, and it's exposed. That is exposed, bro.
Hey man, I got something that I easily raise that. I'll see your Chillicothe and show you modern Detroit, not what Anton Daniels shows you, but my real hometown. Okay, I just put 2 videos, but take the second one, man. Not that one. No. We'll go to that one second. No, go take the second one. Let's see. I'm gonna make sure I put a second one in. Yeah, I put a second one in. Yeah. This is it. This is it. Let's go.
Oh boy, here we go.
Okay, this is the west side. I can kind of tell.
Hey, any of y'all ever been to the Wild Animal Park?
No.
Or you ever been on like safari?
Oh, a wild animal park like that or safari? I've been to one.
Okay, that's what this reminds me of. It's almost like
you ain't seen nothing yet. This is the nicest part. Not of Detroit, but of this video.
Oh boy, okay.
And we lost SKC. Damn.
He had to run.
Okay, here we go. I want you to count. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. That was 3 abandoned houses.
Man, I thought they tore all these down, man.
Are you? Man, wait. You ain't seen nothing yet. Okay, there's 1. There's that one's livable because I can see the porch light. This is actually good.
What? Bro, I don't look at these houses and think I'd survive a winter in these houses. Does it you? I don't think I would survive a winter here.
Now, here's the problem with Detroit as we
Bro, look at this. You know this is
I was gonna say that.
Bro,
keep that in mind. Keep that in mind.
If you are not from the Midwest, for the audience, if you are not from the Midwest, there are so many American sedans. It is ridiculous.
But
I'm telling you,
it's a Corvette. You're gonna see. I saw it actually in the comments. It's like, damn, there's nicer cars on the street than the houses.
Right. The people work for GM and buy a Corvette and live in the gutter. Like, bro, this is some Midwest-ish right here.
Yeah, damn, there was something I was gonna say. Keep going. Oh, here's the problem. I'll wait till we get on this one block. And I discovered this last night while I was in the rabbit hole of your Mississippi video. Thanks.
Okay.
I got thrown in this algorithm. Seeking my creator. Please seek him more. Detroit needs it. Okay, there's all right. Here's the problem, right? Like this, where you still got to run power through it. Now wait till you see this. You think these people are gonna get out of the street? They take their damn time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 abandoned. 7, 8, 9. An entire apartment building. That's 10.
Bro.
Okay.
How can you grow up in this area, man?
You can't. And here's the problem. No, this is on the serious side. Detroit has more square mileage in its metro than all of New York. I bet you didn't know that. Detroit geographically is very large, and they have to run power. Like if it's one house on that block, you still got to power the whole grid. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think we got up to 10 last time. 1.
Dang, bro, this is insane.
Is this the
look
worst?
at that? Look at that nice truck, man. It had a nice new truck in front of an apocalyptic movie set. Good God.
You're like, damn, I didn't realize it was like this. Yeah. And you know what's bad is when I was last there during the NFL draft, I decided to take a drive around myself, and I confirmed a lot of this my damn self. I'm like, man. Okay, now let's look at the nice cars.
Yeah, man. Freaking late model trucks. Late model is the GMC.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And this is the west side, by the way, the supposed good side. Or was the good side.
Good gravy.
You see all those open lands? That's where homes used to be. Like on the right side.
Right. Okay. So I mean, because there was that big push to tear everything down. So these homes have been become part of the blight since that big push. Oh,
yes.
wow.
No. They were already there. They couldn't tear everything down. So
I mean, we're reading an article 20 years ago that like bears were starting to come into the city.
It wouldn't surprise.
Oh God, no.
And they still having a party on the outside. I mean, well, it's a lot of parking spaces. That's the good thing.
Lord.
How much time is left on it? Because the one at night will make you really laugh. Okay, now let it go. All right, so we have all of this block, mind you. I'm very familiar with this block. Look at the potholes. Remember I told you yesterday, look at the potholes.
Dang. That's crazy though. I mean, Detroit has real winter. You can't leave those potholes.
Yeah.
Like to fix that, they have to scrape the roadbed all the way down.
Yes. Said they need Dr. Doom. Looks like the South. Yes, up south, Lion 917. Oh wow, there's some work being done on that house.
Dang, bro.
These are the houses, Freeman, you can get for like, I don't know, 1,000, 5,000. But look at what's around you. You know?
No, I wouldn't do it. I mean, white people aren't even moving in here. You know it's bad.
Right. I mean, the schools are messed up. I mean, if you're a single person and you got a lot of guns and you got a lot of arsenals, you see that pink. Okay, go to the second one, man. Go to it at night.
Lord have mercy. You messed up my algorithm.
I know. This is the strip, or some new strip. You see the undercarriage lights. You need ZZZ says you need an infantry to live in some of these spots.
Bro,
women out.
No way, dude. No way.
You're like Clutch Pearls.
No, man. I mean, just no. Like, I'm not even on the street in my neighborhood. Like, everything around me closes at like 9. Most close at 9. Pretty much everything is closed at 10.
They're gonna motorcycle club.
There's no hanging out in my neighborhood. Zero. Well, and there's nothing to be done here.
That's why they out in the street. Look at all these motorcycles, man. Look at this.
This is what was sexually deemed parking lot pimping back in the day.
Now, do you really think you could find a quality chick here?
This is where all the baby. This is baby Mamaville.
Now,
Hey, Sir Tice, depends on what you talk quality. Because, there's various levels of that, right?
this is a good point. That's a good point. I should say, True Hype. I don't want to give away what's going to happen. You could probably play this at double speed, not double speed, or at least not at the normal speed. It's 1.5 would be good. Okay, wait till you see this. It always goes down at the gas stations.
Crackety crack. I'm out. It's like I'm out. Right, I get off the highway, right? I'm on a road trip, get off the highway to get some gas. I see that, I'm like, skirt.
Like,
where's the next one? Like, I wouldn't even stop here for gas. Bro.
You wouldn't stop. Listen.
Oh,
well, if there's a grown man on a bike, right? I'm not getting out.
Dude.
No, but Freeman, you can tell by the lights. When the lights change like that and it's like kind of dim, I'm like, yeah, I don't trust it.
Listen, I'm born and raised there. I don't get gas in the city at night. And even if I do, you better bring some, even if you're strapped, you better bring somebody else strapped. Like, I'm serious.
Not going to do it. That's why Costco membership is worth it just for the gas station.
Right. That's exactly, the one on Commercial and Power Line. Okay,
Yep.
wait till you see this one, man. This is what in Detroit, in New York, they're called bodegas. In Detroit, they're called party stores or party stoves for short.
Oh boy.
This is where it all goes down. I think in this video, they're going to actually go into one. Again, I was up late at night. I was in this loop because I was like, okay, can I recognize what street this is? Oh, here's what had me rolling in stitches right here. I think it's going to be, well, I'll let you guys see it. And this guy's just trying to get some gas.
Oh,
yeah. Here we go.
Skirt.
They shooting dice?
I will see y'all later. Nope.
You got to come in here full infantry, I think he's going to go in.
Hey, it's funny, Sir Tice? You know what this reminds me of?
Here it is. Hold your
had
thought. Hold your thought, True Hype. Here's what I wanted you to see, I think. Or no, damn, it's another gas station. Go ahead.
I had a graduation and my peoples and all that stuff. We went to like the DC area and we went to Maryland. And I'm in the back seat riding around with my uncle. And then like I saw the street lines change and we were on the Maryland side. And I was like, yo, man, I'm starting to sit up and like look around because I'm like, yo, I just noticed the street lights change. They became dingier, less quality. And then we stopped at this one gas station, and I said, yo, hey, we probably shouldn't be over here.
Right.
You can just tell.
I don't know.
No,
why
my bad. Go ahead.
I don't know why he's fascinated with this area again. I don't know enough people like that anymore that I could be comfortable going here. I could say, yeah, I'm born here myself. But to be honest, I always think like if I gotta expire, this is the last place I want to be found expired. Yes, Sir Tice. Damn it, it was another one, but yeah. and hold on a second, Friedman, go to that channel that's on. And it's called Charlie Bo 313. And if you click his videos, he has videos of various hoods, but it's one that's in Mexico.
This one?
Oh, he foolish.
Yeah. Click that one, and that looked better. That looked better than Detroit.
Yo,
bro, I would not be in Juarez, bro.
Why would he be doing that, man? It's dangerous to tell in Juarez, man. They kidnapping people like left and right too, depending on if they think they get some money out of you.
Where is Juarez, like in relation to Tijuana?
No, it's across from El Paso.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, my homie was born in Chihuahua, and he's like, I ain't going over there, man. Because they used to walk across the bridge, because like the 18-year-olds would go across the Juarez to drink. because they had a like a bridge over there, and they just go back and forth. They didn't close that up.
Phoenix Fish says, "Give me Detroit over Juarez."
Yeah, bro, I'm not doing it, man. Yeah, I don't want to end up in a freaking vat of acid.
This is bad. I gotta say though, this is hard.
I mean, no, I can see Juarez being at least looking like not as dilapidated as Detroit, right? Because it's right across the border. There's tons of people there. It's not really, there's poverty, but there isn't like the first world decay that a Detroit has.
You know, it's wild, man, when you're on the interstate and Mexico's on one side and the America's on the other. When you're driving on that, I can't remember what interstate it is. It's not 40, is it?
I-10.
Is it 10? Yeah, like I remember riding on the interstate, man, like looking over and it'd be like shanty towns on one side, and then like, you know, like a Hobby Lobby across the street. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like a fence that's leaning, and that's the only like thing that separates the two.
Oh, I've seen that in San Diego. But like in down here, right, El Paso Juarez, you're on the 10, and it's, you know, it's like freaking 4 lanes each side, but you can, if you look south, you can see Juarez. Then if you look north, you see like a nice little mall and stuff.
This is a random comment. I got a homie who grew up with me in Detroit. Now he has his own trucking company in DC. He delivers. He has one of those transports. You know, when new cars, when you carry new cars to the dealership. I don't know what those trailers are called, but you know what I'm saying. Like you can fit like 10 cars on them.
It's like a car trailer, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. So he has those, but he said he had an opportunity in Fargo, in Bismarck, North Dakota. And he's like, man, it's nothing but white people here or whatever. And I'm like, dude, listen, you're in the DMV. Enjoy those white people while you're there, man. Trust me. And, you know, because he was telling me about things that's happening, because he doesn't live in Baltimore. I forget exactly where, specifically in the DMV. But I'm just saying that to juxtapose to this. He said, man, it's nothing to do. And I'm like, well, looking at Juarez right now, it's nothing to do either. I would take Bismarck, North Dakota any day over this.
Yeah, man. That's one thing about San Diego. It was always the people from like Atlanta, Chicago. They say, oh, man, it's so slow here. And I just be like, cool.
Good.
That's the way I like it. Y'all can go back to wherever you're from where it's nice and fast. I'll take slow.
He says, "Seeking my I'm gonna watch this Charlie Bowl 313 to avoid the bad locals and shit." No, San Diego used to be amazing. Triple Z. My brother lives there now, man, and I've never seen as many homeless people in my life. And there's no disrespect to all homeless people, but these homeless embankments are insane.
Crazy. I mean, relatively speaking, right? You know, amazing is a relative game, right? It's still nice, relatively speaking, but having grown up there in the 80s, man, they used to water the freeways.
Yeah, I remember you said that.
All the embankments used to be green. I mean, like bright green, like what they call these, like succulents. They were called ice plant. Everything was covered. Right, all the little hills, there was no brown anywhere. I've always called San Diego the world's largest garden because nothing is there. If you look at old pictures of San Diego, it's brown. It's just a patch of dirt. That is it. There was no farmland, no nothing. Everything is due to irrigation and people planting it. And San Diego in the 80s was super green. I mean, it didn't have a lot of trees, right? But there was green everywhere. Everybody had yards, like I said, all the freeways had greenery around them. They always ran those trucks down the freeway that would like sweep up all the debris. I mean, San Diego was gorgeous, man. Like Mayberry. It was a postcard.
Hey, have you have y'all been to Nashville like in the 90s, like late 90s, early 2000s, before 2000?
Nah, not that early. I went there like in the last decade. I've been there a bunch.
I've been to my brother went to Fisk, in the
Oh, okay.
mid 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the mid 80s. And then my uncle got a church there at that same time. So I've been there in the 80s, 90s, 2000.
you remember?
I've seen that. That's why I was bringing that up yesterday, True Hype. I've seen that city literally grow from just a, I don't even want to call it a mid-level city, to like I said, the Vegas of whatever that area of the country you want to call it. I mean, it's amazing how just Broadway Street alone has been.
Dude, so you remember all the homelessness, right? There's still quite a bit, but
Yes.
it's not anywhere near what it used to be. I remember like on where the Nissan Stadium is now, used to be like Adelphia where the Titans play.
Yeah.
People would park on that side, you know what I'm saying, to go to Broadway, right? Because it was free on that side. But there was like the joke. There's a running joke with some of my buddies, man. It'd be like, yo, it's a stab and jab. I'm gonna park over here and then just take my chances because I don't want to pay. I don't know how long I'm gonna be, so I don't want to pay for parking. And then it would go across the way. My dad used to work downtown over there off of James Robinson. And like, it's changed. Even like on the east side or whatever, on the other side of I think it's 24. Yeah, it's 24. On the other side, like where like they got the murals and all that stuff where the hipsters like to be at, it's changed over there too, because it used to be real bad. As a matter of fact, 3-4 years ago, some dude got he got did in, man, by somebody trying to rob him, like some kid.
Yeah, this is crazy, man. How that is. I wish I could think of the. I wish I could think of the place that my cousin advised me not to go to. That his older sister, my we're all cousins, said I should meet them up at. He was like, "Did you bring your strap?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't." Whatever. He was like, "You don't go over there, man." It's like that. He's like, "Yeah, it's different for them because they're females, man." But he's like, "You'll stick out like a sore thumb."
Well, man, I know there's one spot. It's off of Rosa Park, and it's like back in the cut. They done since did a bunch of gentrification real close to the farmers market. And I remember at one point in time there was like a churches over there, and there's one street. I was like, I wouldn't go down there like on a Sunday after like 1 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? And I remember I seen these like white ladies like stumble drunk going to their Airbnb over that way, and I was like, damn, it's a shame. Because I'm like, it was nighttime too when I saw these ladies where they're walking over that way. And I'm like, wow, man, they must really feel safe. Because I remember how bad it used to be over there. Like, man.
Yeah, it was something I was just gonna say and I forgot. National Traffic Enforcement.
I don't have the bad neighborhood in me anymore. I just don't. I don't have the time for it. None of that.
Yeah, but this is like avoidance though, Freeman. You like knowing the spots to avoid. And I'm talking about like, I wouldn't go over there in the daytime and I'm seeing like women walk like drunkenly down this road.
Oof. No.
Back in the day, I wouldn't go through on a Sunday during the.
Yeah. Can't do it.
I'll join you guys later. I gotta bounce.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, same here. All right, True Hype. I appreciate you coming.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's it, folks. That concludes our broadcast day. Yeah, just want to do a follow-up and highlight a city that is growing and juxtapose it against a city that is not. And emphasize that culture matters. All right, culture matters. Thanks for coming, folks. And I'm out.